My name's Nick Ram, and in this video you're going to need a sharp pointy knife and a toothbrush. You need to be very careful not to stab yourself obviously, but I'm going to show you how to repair drift on the analog sticks for both the version 1 and version 2 control pad. I'll leave links in the description on how to dismantle both of those. Version 1 is for the old Xbox and version 2 is for the Xbox Slim and the Xbox One X. And once you've stripped your control pad, come back to the video and carry on from this point. Right, so this is a control pad module that I broke deliberately to figure out how these analog stick motors worked. It's pretty straightforward. The area in here is the place that you want to be cleaning. Dirt gets trapped on it, and this is the little module that goes inside. It looks like copper spring loaded, and basically the dirt that gets trapped stops them from registering on the circular motion of the stick when you're moving it, as you can see there. Just zoom in. As you can see there, when you move forwards and backwards, that plastic ring here moves forwards and backwards inside there, and them copper prongs sit inside there moving forwards and backwards. Basically you want your toothbrush to clean that area, but you don't want to bend it back this much. Obviously this is broken, and these ones that I snapped off just to mess around really, just to figure out what was what. But it's pretty straightforward. If you look at either side here, you've got plastic clips, and they exist there and there. I'm trying to get it in the camera whilst looking at it. Yeah, so you've got to push these sides in. So you'll push it in, and as you push it in, pry it slightly. I don't want to stab my finger, but as you can see, it's slowly coming away. And you've got to do it both sides. Now it's okay if you bend the structure down here, but this one's a bit fidgety because this is the top left analog stick. But you pry it open. Probably going to stab my finger. And then once it's open, you just want to move it back slightly like that, so that it's pried open in that position. Now this is the awkward part. You want to bend it without breaking it, but this part here that's inside, you want to get that out. So pull it back, lift that up, and let it fall out into your hand like that, so that you're inside. And it's just a case of getting the toothbrush, getting it a good clean. You don't want to use any solvents or anything on it. Just get a good clean, like so. You know that you're cleaning because your toothbrush turned black. Anyway, when you put this back in, this mechanism, the spring area, that part, needs to be top side. So when you put it in with the springs, the two springs here that push, two springs here, look, that push in and out, they want to be top side when you put it back in. Anyway, so yeah, so once it's in line and everything's back in place, you basically just push it back in, and make sure that when you push it back in, these areas are clipped back in, and all of the dots, just going defocused, focus back in. There we go. You want to push it back into place and make sure that everything clips back into place. So you might need a knife to push this back in without chopping your finger off. Anyway, so when it's all back into place, I mean, obviously you can see that one from the broken one. When it's all back into place, it should be all back into normal, and that'll just move as it normally would. As you can see it moving. But that's all it takes to clean your module. So I've put the case back on the Recon control pad, and as you can see, everything's fine. If I'm trying to do this with one hand, it's a bit awkward. But if I move around, look, the player won't go anywhere as soon as I stop, and if I look around, the analog sticks look around as it's supposed to. Now hopefully if I disconnect this one control pad and then turn on the other control pad that's synced up with it, which also had a very similar issue, as you can see. Now these three control pads are all different version control pads, as you can see here, and obviously I'm moving around and stuff, and it doesn't move without me touching the control pad. And as you can see from the fascias, that's a version 2, that's a version 1. Now if I take the battery out of this one, and then turn this one on, this is also a control pad that had a very similar problem. Press OK, let's bring the view back down, and there you go. So completely different control pad again, and all the problems have been resolved on every single control pad, and it'll work now. So I've got like I don't know, I'm sure these control pads are like 40 or 50 quid a piece, so there's like £150 worth of value saved right there, just through a simple toothbrush fix. Would you believe it?